Hi, welcome to the Sweet Slumber Podcast, the good, the bad, and the sleep deprived. I am your host, Meredith Bruff. I'm a wife, a mother of 5, a childcare expert, and a sleep coach. I'm here to teach you the most effective sleep advice for infants and young children. With my guidance, sleep will become something that you look forward to again, and you will feel rested. I believe that motherhood is the most important and demanding role that we have, but the challenges and accomplishments that go along with it go unnoticed frequently. We are going to talk openly about these things so that we can draw strength and compassion from each other. I will share my perspective as a seasoned mother and help you experience more fulfillment. Hello, everyone. It's Meredith from Sweet Slumber. Today is an unusual topic for me, especially because I try to keep things very much neutral. In my online program, there are times when I talk about my faith, still trying to be pretty neutral because I understand that we all have different beliefs. Not everyone believes in God, and we believe in different gods, and that's totally fine. I mean, I respect that so much. I respect all religious beliefs. I respect all conviction and everyone's values and how they believe. So don't feel like this is all meant to be something preachy or forceful. But I do feel very strongly about what I'm going to share, and I hope that it will help you and be inspiring. And I really feel like this is just the time for me to open up about this, and it's important. I hope that what I share actually will help you through your difficulties with your sleep journey and your child, and that maybe it is one of the last links that you need in all of the materials and the tools that I offer. Maybe your faith is one last step that you need, and so I'm trusting God that this will be a good workshop, and that my words will be inspired. So I had a lot of time to think. I actually decided to do this topic on my way home last night from a trip I was on in the airplane. Um, I was just away for just for a few days, but the last several days have been really hectic and crazy and busy. A lot of things going on since last Saturday, and it all started with Mother's Day weekend and having my kids come and putting things on hold and just being with them. I stayed up too late Saturday night, and I'd been having trouble all week with my eyes. I have a chronic condition that my eyes are too dry and my eye isn't formed smoothly, and so I'll have friction and have problems with top layers of my eye getting shifted or scratched or whatever you want to say, because it's kind of gross. So I woke up Sunday morning, Mother's Day, with severe eye pain in one eye, and I knew it was going to be a few days of recovering, and it was going to be rough. It was very painful. And spent a lot of the day in bed, and then a lot of the day sitting on the couch with dark glasses on, the lights dimmed, my kids sitting around me, trying to be present, but in a lot of pain. And I was supposed to go on this trip the next day, so it was pretty stressful. And I'm not going to tell the whole story right now. I'll talk about it in a minute, but the reason we were going on a trip is that my niece has cancer, and it's been about 2 years. She's 20, and they can't give her treatments anymore. It's just getting worse. And so we wanted to go see her, and all of my husband's family was going to be there. There's 6 kids, so all the siblings, most of the spouses and his parents were going to be there to see Nicole one more time and be together. It was pretty special. It was a very emotional week. And then the other thing that's been going on is one of my children's having difficulty right now with depression. So it's been a lot of stuff. So I'm coming to you with a heart full, a mom heart full, and a aunt heart full, and a woman whose heart has been troubled, not just because of my, the other things, but because of my health and my eye. So I think that you guys understand all the hats that we wear, all the roles that we play, and how it's a lot. It's a lot to have all those roles. It's a lot to manage all those people. It's a lot to manage yourself. It's a lot to manage your feelings and your exhaustion. And I've been very exhausted lately, so I can relate to you there too. So what I have an outline I'm going to follow, and I just want to talk about some things from motherhood and how my faith has been a blessing to me. Um, so there's been times when I've sat down and I've tried to make a list of all the illnesses and doctor visits and all the things that I've been through as a mom of 5 kids for 21 years. Not that I had 5 kids the whole time, but there's been a lot. There's been a lot of incidents and accidents and issues and um, disorders and mental health problems and surgeries and all of these things. Um, but what stood out to me was a short list of incidents that affected my faith. Um, and some of them are definitely out of order. So don't mind this because I'll talk about my fourth child and then I'll talk about my first child and then and I don't want to talk about these things a lot. It's just a few of them. So there's been some times when my babies were very, very sick. And, I know that you guys can relate to this too, because a lot of the people that I work with have had traumatic births or a lot of health problems for their kids. So I hope that you'll reflect on your experiences as well. But my fourth daughter actually had RSV when she was a month old, and she was holding her breath or, unable to breathe while she was nursing a few times in the middle of the night, which was so scary. Um, she was turning blue. So I immediately went to the doctor in the morning, and then we were checked into the hospital. She had RSV, and we stayed there for like 4 days. Um, and it was really scary. And at one of the times that we were, like one of the first days, in the middle of the night, she had a fever for about an hour. So that meant the next day they were going to test everything under the sun because it's not normal for a 1 month old to get a fever. And so she had a spinal tap. Um, she had ultrasounds, x-rays, all the blood tests. And it was very surreal. Like I felt like it was almost out of body. And when I left the room to go get food or something like that, and I knew this was about to happen, I just remember pouring my heart out in prayer, just asking God for blessings, and also feeling very reassured and at peace that everything was going to be okay. And then I remember thinking, how do other people do it? How do other people have things like this go on without faith? Because it meant so much to me and it was everything to me that day. And then there's been other times, like one of my children, same kid actually, had a febrile seizure. So when she was 2 or 3 years old, she had a very high fever, and I had been gone and I didn't realize she was sick. I got home and my husband was in charge. She was in bed. Um, I got home and went to bed late and was woken up to her yelling out, and ran into the room, and she was having a seizure, and it was long and she didn't wake up from it. We just took her to the hospital when she passed out. And again, holding her in my arms, no seatbelts, no car seat, crying, sobbing, praying, asking for God to preserve her and for everything to be okay. And she was, because it was just the fever that caused this seizure. And the doctors just doubled up on meds and sent us home. She was okay. I just felt like, again, my faith was everything. It was so powerful and important to me. I had so many experiences like that with my kids, where I had huge scares. I didn't know what was going on. One of my kids used to pass out when she was getting sick. That was terrifying. In the beginning, I was like, my daughter has cancer. I was so scared. There's been times when my husband and I went through difficulties in our marriage. One part was everything because I felt so alone and the struggles were so hard. My husband being depressed and me feeling like I couldn't get through to him was really hard, and I felt very alone. And that was painful because we'd been married for 10 years. I felt like I didn't know him, and I felt so helpless. And it was a rough year, but God helped us get through that. My mother-in-law had cancer for a couple of years, and I just remember the whole family pulling together and praying for her and all the miracles that followed. Um, many lost jobs, many jobs of that my husband was going to lose, or we were afraid he was going to lose. We had that happen several times. I can't remember how many times my husband has had to change jobs, but we've moved several times. I think 10 times in our almost 25 years of marriage. And we had such great experience praying and getting through it and being close as a family, having the same purpose of heart and being unified in our prayers and seeing miracles. One of the biggest one was when we moved here to Iowa. Um, it took a year to sell our house, and many prayers, many miracles. And in the end, when we sold our house, it was when I gave up my will and fully trusted God. Um, that same week, I had a very special moment in prayer where my heart was really open and I was no longer worried about what I wanted and I just trusted God. And we sold our house that week. I felt bad for my family that they waited that long for me to learn that lesson. And then everything was beautiful and fell into place and we were richly blessed. Probably the biggest struggle that I've dealt with. I have two on my list here. One is that I had a lot of trauma as a child and a teenager, and I actually didn't work through that until I was, I guess it was like 5 years ago. So 40. And the other thing, I mean, God helped me through that. I promise you. Like, I could not have healed with just the therapist's help. I prayed so much every single day for God to heal me, and healed in incredible ways in just a matter of a year. I felt like a totally different person, just healed and whole and at peace. The other thing, like I said, this one just stands out the most to me is that I have a daughter who has struggled with many issues, mentally, emotionally. In the meantime, we had all these years of just struggling and a lot of ugliness. So she was having very big explosive tantrums. And um, we discovered after many years that punishing her and giving her consequences actually made her feel unloved. And that's one of the hardest things because it's so normal to raise your kids the way your parents raised you and to just do things out of habit and without really even thinking. And so books and parenting resources are fabulous and I love them. But we had such a hard time trying to find the right approach with her. And it was like we were rewriting parenthood. Just like for you guys with sleep, I feel like we're rewriting all the rules for sleep because of your unique children and their needs. So it's very similar. But we had to rewrite our parenting style and do things completely outside the box to work with her. And didn't have resources and didn't have support, and the schools failed her. And life at home was bad at times, and it was really hard to know that my children were around all the explosiveness and the anger and the yelling and screaming. It was really hard. So prayer was extremely important to me over all those years. And there was times when I felt very broken and alone. And the whole time, though, God was there and He was cradling both of us. He was holding us, He was holding our hands, He was walking us through it. And He's healed my children. He's helped them become healthy and whole. It's been okay. She's healthy and happy in many ways now. And um, it's just been really beautiful to see my life improve and our relationship improve and uh, the way that she's growing and becoming an adult. And I'm just so grateful to be out of that situation. And I'm going to talk about that again in a few minutes. Just kind of address some lessons from that, I guess. Um, but yeah, there's been a lot of trials in my life, my entire life. So I want you guys to understand that when you're struggling with your child's sleep and other issues that you have in your life, because I know we all have many other struggles besides our children's sleep, your children's sleep, I mean. Sometimes I know that, especially when you're sleep deprived, or it takes so much work to get your child to sleep, or they're keeping you up all night, or they're waking up constantly, or it's hard to get them to sleep for naps, and you just want a break, and you just want to sleep decently, and you just want things to get better. This is why parents do cry it out and fervor, because they get desperate, and they just hope that it will work. And a lot of times it doesn't, and that's one of the reasons that people come to me. but also there are parents out there who just won't do it. And I really respect both parties, both purposes. I understand. And sometimes I wish that we could have a magic wand and change things quickly. And I feel bad that there isn't a quick fix. And I think about this a lot because it makes me feel helpless when I can't help and when things can't get better quickly. And I pray and I plead for miracles for my clients all the time. And it's hard for me to wait as well. But this is just something that I hear from people a lot. Sometimes you feel like you can't do another day. You feel like giving up. You feel like you can't take it another day. Your body's falling apart. Your heart and mind are spent, and you have nothing left to give. You can't take another day. People tell me these things all the time, and I understand the urgency and I understand why it's so hard. And I also understand when moms just, they come to me and they say that and they kind of expect me to take it and be like, okay, I'm going to fix it. That's all right. And I know that I can, and I know that I have the tools that work. It's just that it doesn't always happen quickly. And we are completely helpless in that sense. I give parents tools to improve what they need to improve. I give you knowledge and understanding about what's going on. I give you fabulous remedy ideas that are powerful, methods that are peaceful and supportive, and that are going to help promote your child's best outcome, their best development, their best emotional, social, everything, all the aspects of health. You are giving them the best chance at developing optimally, which is so wonderful. And that's something really, really important and powerful to focus on. I feel like it will give you as much patience as possible, giving you methods that are peaceful and supportive, in tune to your heart and your intuition and your child. That is amazing. But you and me, we can't change nature. We can't change our children's temperaments. We can't change what's going on with them. If they have disorders or they have weaknesses or sensitivities, we can't change that. We can't change if they're super attached. Again, their temperaments and their disposition, who they are as a person. And we can't change the fact that some of them are very unregulated emotionally and will take a lot longer to regulate themselves. And I say that from experience because my first two are still struggling with that, and they're 21 and 19. Moms have many responsibilities, and they're amazing. You are amazing. You do things that no one can explain. They're miraculous things. How you do what you do day and night, every day, is beyond me. You have superhuman power, but sometimes it's still not enough. And sometimes you aren't superhuman and you feel broken, and I understand that. I feel like the answer is faith. It's what we have when we can't help ourselves. It's what we have when we can't do more on our own, when we've given our all and we don't have control anymore. We don't have enough knowledge or strength or experience to know how to change things or to get through. And many times when I say these things, I know that's why you came to me. And I know that I have a lot for you. And I pray always for God to give me more and to give me what you need. So I'm trying to be part of that solution for you. But prayer and hope and faith are the last links to what we need to get through what we're doing. We still have to give up control. We still can't have everything that we want when we want it. Sometimes a miracle will surprise us, but this is exactly what you need right now. More strength and energy, or patience and hope. Light at the end of the tunnel, a helping hand along the way, or many helping hands along the way. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to faith. This is the reason my faith is so powerful and valuable to me. The miracles are sweet. They're God's grace. They're God's touch. His way of saying he's there and he loves us. I love miracles. They are amazing. But there's a lot of in-between times when we have to keep going and keep writing without the miracles. Obvious miracles. We need strength. We need power. And then we become the miracles. Miracles come through us. We become his hands. We become what our kids need. We give what it takes through strength and power and faith. Our kids feel what they need to when we can't be everything they need, when we feel like we're too depressing, discouraged, sad, or drained, through our faith. God makes up the difference. Somehow he gives them the peace, the love, the healing that they need when we can't. That's why it's okay when you can't change how you feel when you're struggling, or your kids are going to come out of things okay because of God. There's times when, I give you tools like affirmations, and I'm like, let's just do everything you can to try to feel that peace and that calm so your child feels it. There's times when you can't. There's times when it's not enough. And I just really believe that God makes up the difference in those situations. His power will change and heal both of you. Life is messy, and it's meant to be that way. I just made a podcast on a different podcast last month about this, how we aren't meant to have a perfect life. Our kids are not meant to have a perfect life. We're not meant to make it perfect for them. They need to have a normal life so that when they're adults, they are equipped and they know how to handle normal, messy life. But we can't always stay upbeat. Um, and sometimes we need a therapist, we need medicine, and always we need God. So this brings me to this week. So Nicole, my niece, she found out. Oh, I skipped something. She started having severe head pain when she graduated from high school at 18, and they went to the ER and ended up getting some tests run, and they found that she had tumors in her brain. So I haven't really known Nicole very well because we didn't live near each other, and we used to just see each other every 2 years with 30 something people on my husband's side of the family at reunions. So I just really didn't get to know her well. All I know is from a distance, she and her family had a lot of faith and were very upbeat. We once had a family reunion that was called, the theme was Choose Joy. And it was a beautiful theme for a reunion. We lived it, we loved it, and it's continued to be a family theme. Well, Nicole chose this theme for her cancer battle. And I've always thought that was really cool. I thought it was neat, but I haven't been around her, and so I really didn't know the meaning. And I got to experience what it meant this week being around her. So she's had many miracles. The family fasted and prayed for her many, many times to be okay, be better, hoping that God would heal her. Now, we knew this was supposed to be a terminal illness, and her type of cancer would just continue to grow tumors. But we did not doubt that God could heal her. And she's had many experiences where things were worse. The family prayed, everybody prayed, and then all of a sudden tumors were gone. They were shrunk, they were gone. But in January, she actually had a tumor on her spine, and she lost the use of her lower body. And they were still hopeful that there was going to be some type of healing when they removed the tumor. She'd be able to walk again, but she hasn't been able to walk again. Lots of amazing miracles happened this spring. It was so exciting. And then about 2 weeks ago, she found that there was tumors growing in her brain, that they hadn't gotten smaller, and that there was no more cancer treatments for her. They had to decide to, I can't remember what her decisions were. I don't think she had a decision left anymore. They just were told, you should probably get her comfortable and get hospice care. And then the family started to realize that she's getting worse and we need to prepare for the end. And so my sister-in-law planned a day for us all to be together to come see Nicole as soon as possible. We had about a week notice, and my husband's 5 siblings and parents came together and spent some time together just being with Nicole. And Nicole wanted to do something special in my church for herself. It's something that you usually do as an adult to prepare for marriage. And she went ahead and went through this ceremony, I guess you could call it, in our temple. And it was amazing because since Saturday, so just less than a week ago, she stopped being quite as lucid, and her eyes were shut all the time. And she would kind of come in and out of being awake and asleep, and sometimes talk and make sense, and sometimes you could tell she was just kind of answering without really knowing what she was saying. And they warned us that had started Saturday. And so that's how she was on Monday. But one of my favorite memories was that she was singing church songs. We all stopped to listen. It's just beautiful. And then the next morning we went to our temple, and she was awake and sitting in her wheelchair for 6 hours. And she was clear and she understood what was going on and she was happy. And then she slept the rest of the day. Um, but just being around her this week has shown me that she actually has chosen joy. It's so inspiring to see a woman her age in the situation where she's in so much pain, just choosing to be positive. And I know that it's not just her awesome attitude, it's also her faith. Um, her parents sat at her side and took care of her every need constantly without complaining. They were emotional at times, more like they were touched, you know? And then there was other times where they were laughing and they were themselves and they were shiny and full of joy. And they talk about how their faith is just different because they know that they're going to be with her in heaven. They're going to see her again, and that this is the time when she's going to meet God and a beautiful thing. She's going to rest from her pain. And I know it's really hard and it's sad for them to think of living without her. And so it's not at all easy, but it's just so inspiring to feel the love and see their focus on her and how they meet her needs and are just there for her. It's so inspiring. And I just knew that what she was thinking about was that this is just a short time on earth, that we're not really here for what people think we're here for. And she knew that she was going to be with her family forever, be with God forever, and that she was going to be okay, that she was going to feel better soon, that this isn't just the end of life right now, you know, leaving this world. There's life beyond this world. There's life beyond this life. And you can see it in her. It's so inspiring. There was one night that I couldn't sleep because I was thinking about what they've gone through with their daughter, and I was thinking about my children and how much they meant to me. And I totally relate, understand. I would probably sit at my child's side too and take care of their every need and focus fully on my child and just love them, knowing that there was an end soon and that I would not have them with me. And that's why I couldn't sleep that night. I was just crying, thinking about what my kids meant to me and how hard it would be to live without them. And I don't know. My faith is just so important. It makes such a difference in my hope and my peace and my acceptance of this thing that's going on with Nicole. Um, I think that Nicole's parents just really understand what matters most. And that's the other thing that I really gained this week, was that what matters most is your family, your child, nothing else. All the things around us are just distractions, and that our kids, our family, our love for each other, supporting and being there for each other, that's what matters the most. And I wish that it was easier to not get distracted and not have all those things get in the way, and that we also didn't have to feel tired and grumpy, you know, and get angry or not be our best selves at times. But again, I just really know that there's grace, that God will help heal our kids and help them feel better and help us to not be that way and help us to grow and, you know, reach those goals of being rested and be our best selves. Um, I was thinking about how in some situations we have to give up our control. We give our concerns and our fears to God and we ask Him to take over. Like when you send your child to preschool or kindergarten, and you have to let go and trust that they're going to be okay and everything's all right. It's so hard when you're sitting in the hospital and your child is sick and you can't do anything about it. Another time when you're just like, oh, please help me, help my child, and you use your faith. And it's so powerful. Ask God for peace, ask God to take care of them, and not, you know, try to see things with an eternal perspective is huge. But there's times in our life when God steps in and takes care of us and our children without being asked. You know, we might pray for safety, we might pray for God to protect our kids, but we may not know what's coming that day. We may not know what they're dealing with. That's happened with me. Um, when my daughter was driving home at midnight back in December or November, I didn't realize she was driving with her friend at midnight, and she wasn't living at home anymore. And they hit a deer, you know, driving 70 or 80 miles an hour, and the deer was huge and was just standing in the road. and their car exploded, like instantly caught on fire, didn't explode. I got out just in time. Everything was fine. She walked away fine. Like that was a huge miracle, and my heart was so full. I was so grateful that God knew that she needed to be protected and was there for her, even though I didn't know and I couldn't pray for that. Um, I feel shaken in those situations, unnerved, but so grateful. While I was gone this week, being fully focused on Nicole, one of my children texted me and let me know that he was at a very, very dark place. And again, I felt very guilty for not knowing his needs and not being aware and realizing that it could have been really bad. But I was so grateful that God was watching over him and taking care of him and that he was okay. And again, I have to let go all the time, and I can't always know what to pray for. And I'm so grateful that they're his children too, that he takes care of them and watches over them, that they're in his hands and he wants to bless them. Um, my I told you I was really, really struggling with my eye this week, and I had prayed and prayed for a miracle because I knew that I was going to have a very hard time traveling with my eye in that much pain, because it's so bad that I can't even open both eyes. I have to keep them both shut to keep them relaxed. And if I try to open one eye, I have to hold down the other so that it's not moving from blinking. And so that's how I felt that night. It was just, I needed my eyes shut and the pain's so bad and medicine wasn't helping. But I had to pack and I had to get up in the morning. I had to be able to get ready and leave. And this hair of mine, you could tell I haven't done it today. It's just, I'm too exhausted. But um, I have to do my hair because it gets so frizzy. And um, anyways, I prayed and I hoped for a miracle, but it didn't come. And I just endured. I took my time. I did my best job trying to pack. I kept praying. I kept asking for help as I moved through what I had to do. And then I went to bed with a prayer in my heart. And in the morning, I woke up with my eye hurting just as bad. And then I had to try and get ready. I ended up just putting my hair in a ponytail. And I was like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. And I got out the door and had to hold my hand over my left eye to be able to walk into the airport so I could see. And there was some times when we were walking in the airport when my husband didn't realize I couldn't see out of the side. He stopped. It was pretty funny. I had to find him. I kept walking. Anyways, I had a miracle though, and I feel like it's because I was patient and I trusted God, and I just tried to have a good attitude, like Nicole. That was pretty cool to do my best and pray and endure, and then have a miracle. I'm sorry for being so emotional, and also, in a way, I'm sorry for being so raw because some of you guys don't know me, but I just really want to do this. I want to help you. So, um, what happened was that I got on my flight and I tried to sleep. I had like an hour and a half flight or something like that, and I rested the whole time. And when we got off, I didn't have any pain, and my medicine was wearing off. So I walked off the plane without having to hold down this other eye, and I felt comfortable. And we just walked and sat down and ate, and we went about our business. And I continued to just feel comfortable. And I could tell when the medicine was wearing off because I was a little bit in pain. But it was pretty remarkable to feel that much better that quickly. And it just continued. By 5 p.m. that night, I was able to open this left eye. I had no idea. It just happened. And I could see clearly. And it usually takes days for me to get rid of the blurriness from the scratching of my eye. And I just really couldn't believe it. So I just wanted to share that with you because I feel like I said there's sometimes when we just keep going and we just endure and we just know that we can't change nature and that things happen and that we have to go through hard times. But then when we do our best, miracles happen. And that felt really good because I spent the evening with my husband's family and we were laughing and talking and having a good time. And they kept the lights dim and I kept my sunglasses on, but I was comfortable and I was able to see. And it wasn't a distraction. And it was a really good experience. I used to run my daycare. I had 5 kids, and so I understand how there's times when you pray because you're just like, I cannot do this. I cannot take it. And then maybe the miracle doesn't come and it's discouraging, or you just keep going because you're like, yeah, that was probably a silly thing to ask for. But we do get through things, and it's amazing. And one of the things I was thinking about was, why doesn't God send us a miracle when we ask for it? And I think I've talked about it a little bit, but it's so hard when you have to suffer and spend months or years sleep deprived. And I'm so grateful that you guys found me and that you have the right answers. It's just, again, a matter of waiting and helping your child feel a little better with the remedies, finding the right remedies, and just waiting for those miracles to come. Um, Hard when it takes so long for you, but not for others. Hard when your child is just so sensitive and struggling and so dependent on you. And when you're doing the right things and you're praying and you feel like you need it, it's just really hard to not get the miracles. And I understand that. Um, and some of my struggles, like I said, it took years, and God didn't take them away. He didn't even make things better. Sometimes they got worse. I saw lower lows than I could have ever imagined. But over the years, I grew, and my children grew, and my marriage grew. I learned more about God. I learned to trust Him. My children learned about God. They learned to depend on Him. There have been lots of miracles and lots of quickly answered prayers, but there's been long periods of hard times and suffering. And there's been ends to those periods. Always big blessings and lots of joy. I believe that it's worth the hard times. To come to know God, to learn to trust Him, to go close to Him. It's worth hard times. It's worth going through hard times to feel God's love and see God's hand in your life. So don't stop praying and don't stop hoping. Your time will come. Even if it takes longer than you think, it will come. And the reason for that might be that there's answers left to find. There may be a better time when your child is ready. I see that happen often too. And sometimes it's just a month or two later. There may be lessons left to learn and growing left to do. There may be miracles left to experience. So don't rush God. Don't try to change the tide. Lean into Him and see what happens. Ask for His power and His strength, because that's what you need. It will come. He will help you carry your burdens, and He'll help see you through. You may not always have the outcome you hope for, but God will be good to you. You'll feel His peace and His love, and you'll understand more in the future. And I just hope that this is helpful to you and that you don't mind me being this raw and this open. And I am glad you're here, and I'm glad to help you, and glad to be walking this journey with you. And I hope that you're getting the help that you need. And if you need more help, please remember to set up a one-on-one call with me. Reach out through email, whatever it is that you need. And just hope that you have a blessed week.
Thank you for listening to the Sweet Slumber Podcast, the good, the bad, and the sleep deprived. If you enjoyed the show today, please take a moment to write a review, leave a rating, and subscribe so you won't miss future episodes. This will also help more mothers find my show. Thanks for listening.